Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's Cherika Brown, of course. We're on another episode of Cherika Be Talking, cause I be talking. And before I go to bed, I just felt like I need to get this message out that I was thinking about in the shower. And today's message is about you can't be too good to work any ethical job. As I've been scrolling on social media, I'm sure all of y'all are seeing the same thing about how everybody is complaining, saying how the job market sucks and it's just difficult to find a job. And if you have a job right now, be very grateful for your job and make sure you're doing your job properly, you're showing up on time, and you're just doing whatever you can to make sure that you're not the reason you're losing a good job during this time. And I agree. You should be definitely grateful if you do have a consistent job, especially if you're still receiving raises during this time, because even raises have been like surprising me just because of the times that we are in. So definitely if you have a good job and you just been contemplating on your next move, if you don't have something already set up in place, stay where you are and just, kind of build behind the scenes and work on things behind the scenes while you toil through whatever you're going through. Now, my message today is you cannot be too good to work any ethical job, because y'all know growing up culturally, people will laugh at people for working at fast food restaurants and just working certain types of jobs that people look at as low level jobs. But if you're not compromising your morals and values, sometimes you got to do whatever you got to do to feed your family, especially when you have kids or you just have anybody depending on yourself, or you just don't like to sit around being broke. Because I tell people all the time, when people tell me, oh, you wouldn't do that, I know this job, but you wouldn't do that. I'm like, if it don't require me selling my soul or selling myself out, yeah, I will do it. If I have to do it, I will do it. So even when I sell food, people were surprised. They were like, you ain't gonna start selling. Why wouldn't I? Extra income. Anything that is ethical, you cannot be above getting in the field, getting your hands dirty. If times are gonna call for that, you may have to go and apply to your local fast food restaurant for a period of time. And I think that's where our generation go wrong, because we feel and we think that everything is permanent. Things can literally be a season in your life, and that season in your life where you humble yourself and you feel like you're doing an unworthy job or a job you are ashamed of people seeing you on, your biggest blessing can come from that. Your biggest lessons can come from that. It just brings about a humility in you that you didn't even know you had, and you should not be ashamed of making money at the end of the day. And I know my mom was even telling me a story of, she said back in the day when she was younger and she went to apply at a fast food restaurant, that she told herself since she was a child, I would never work at this job. But she was like, her job did mass like layoffs or something, and she just did not want to sit around with no money. And she was like, I'm about to go and get me some money. And as she went into that interview of this job that she said, I'll never work for a company like this, she was sitting mid-interview, about to start the interview actually, and she received a phone call. The phone call was from a different company that was much more, had a big stain when it comes to the name. Like, everybody knew of this company and it was a reputable company. And she was like, 1 second, I have to answer this. She went out there, they offering her a job position. So sometimes, God just puts you in certain environments to just humble you for a second and make you eat your words. So it's not even about being too good for doing things. Anything is better than sitting around being broke when you are doing something that does not make you compromise your morals and standards. Heavy on that, because you can't, all money is not good money. And you have to know that just because things come fast, sometimes things that come fast, they leave fast as well. So I do encourage you to make sure everything that you do is ethical, but do not be above getting in the field, getting your hands dirty, doing some customer service, and having to see people that you went to middle school with, high school with, college with, or whatever, because you're in a season where you got to humble yourself and you got to do whatever it takes to pay the bills or just keep you afloat. Anybody can have everything one day and have nothing the next. If you believe in God, miracles can happen, and you also know whatever was given to you can also be taken from you. So don't think too much about what other people think about you. You need to know what you think about you, and you need to know what you have to do to take care of your responsibilities. And by any means, you need to get it done. But I hope this helps some people who are probably just sitting around depressed and can't find a corporate job in your field, in your major, or whatever you're struggling with, and just allow you to know that it's okay to go to your local grocery store or whatever for a season while you're working on things behind the closed doors, just so you can get a little change. Change brings about change, y'all. And you never know, you'll get your best lessons in the valley. You get your best lessons and your best blessings. Meet some great people if you just humble yourself. But I hope y'all get something from this message, and I hope it helps somebody go and apply for a job, because it's a lot of jobs that are hiring, but they're not the job that you're possibly looking for, because you think you're too good, you think you're too smart, you think you're too qualified, and you could very well be all of those things. However, you can't be too big-headed when it comes to having to provide for yourself, provide for your family, and just being employed and being productive with your life and your time. You never know what value you can bring to a company, especially in a company that you think is small, but they do promotions and you can end up owning a establishment or a franchise, anything. Just never know where you can get, what blessings you can get. So I hope this helped y'all, and y'all know I'll be back because I be talking. Peace.